In this video, I will analyze the fight scenes of the popular film Kung Fu Panda and compare the accuracy of the martial art styles depicted in this film to their real-life counterparts. Kung Fu Panda is a widely successful animated feature film released in 2008 by DreamWorks Animation. It follows the adventures of the titular panda Po Ping, who is unexpectedly chosen to become the prophesied dragon warrior and become a master of Kung Fu. The franchise is set in the fantasy wuxia genre version of ancient China, populated by anthropomorphic animals. Although his status is initially doubted, Po proves himself worthy as he strives to fulfill his destiny. If you have watched this film before, you might have picked up on the fact that the characters in the film, particularly the team of 5 warriors called the Furious Five, all practice distinct forms of Kung Fu, despite being all taught by a master Shifu. This only makes logical sense, considering that they are all different animals with very different bodies, and thus they will each practice a different combat form that best suits their given forms. What you might not have known is that each of these different martial arts styles practiced by these animals exist in real life. The specific styles represented in the film are inspired by the 5 animals of Shaolin Kung Fu, as well as some other martial art forms. Before we begin analyzing martial arts used in this film, let's discuss more about these real-life martial arts styles. In Chinese martial arts, there are fighting styles that are modeled after animals. In Southern styles, there are 5 traditional animal styles that originate from the Shaolin school of martial arts, known as Yin Ying Kung Fu. These styles are based upon animals that consist of the dragon, the snake, the tiger, the leopard, and the crane. Each of these styles have a different inner essence or philosophy that practitioners follow, and different physical movements and corresponding kung fu techniques that are all inspired by the animal. The dragon symbolizes Shen, meaning the spirit and presence. The training of the dragon techniques develops a clear, powerful mind and sharpens the mental focus. Dragon techniques are characterized by swaying, smooth movements. Defense and attack are often united in a single pattern. Techniques include forms such as the dragon palm, which is used for striking, and one finger zen for dimak, or self-defense. The characteristic feature of the snake is qi. Snake exercises are suitable for training energy flow, strengthening it, and promoting endurance. The movements are, on the one hand, soft and flowing, but also very targeted and direct. The snake hand is the hand form most commonly used to thrust or slice. The tiger stands for internal force. Frequently it is mentioned that tiger forms strengthen bones, i.e. promote gu qi, bone energy, which in turn is another synonym for internal force. Tiger patterns have a smooth and soft component. Above all, however, they express concentrated power and superiority. Typical hand forms are the fist and the tiger claw. The frequently used tiger claws are not meant to merely scratch the opponent, as it is commonly shown in movies. Rather, they are used to pull out the flesh, paralyze energy points, or dislocate joints. The leopard is characterized by speed. The explosiveness of the leopard is used when immediate action is required, for example with a fast-paced counterattack or with combinations of several strikes. Another characteristic is the training of muscular strength. Leopard techniques are usually very direct and use the leopard fist. The crane trains Jing. Its characteristics are elegance and essence. Here, essence means that the movements are straightforward and reduced to the bare minimum. The most common crane techniques are kicks. However, very direct attacks with the crane beak, the typical hand form, against eyes or genitals are its specialties too. In addition, the phoenix eye fist is used for striking vital points. These are the 5 traditional Shaolin animal kung fu styles, but there exist many other Chinese animal martial arts styles that have been developed. It is also important to note that these categorizations, like many other categorizations in Kung Fu, are not absolute, and many of these styles can share similarities. It is not always unambiguous as to which moves or physical characteristics belong to which style. It is better to think of these animal styles less as a set of strictly defined movements and techniques, and more as a flexible set of practices whose movements and techniques are inspired by a given animal. In this scene, the Furious Five is teaming up to fight Tai Long, the antagonist of the film. We see here that initial strike from Tigress is very evident of the tiger kung fu style, in particular the tiger swipe, which you can see Tigress performing here. Then she turns around and swipes Tai again, using this tiger technique. Note how she has her arms raised and is striking with swiping motion, as opposed to straightforward punches. Finally, in this last clip, we see Tigress running towards Tai and finishing him off with an explosive attack. This power attribute is something that is prized in tiger-style kung fu. Although not a member of the Furious Five, Tai Long is a great example of the leopard-style kung fu. His extremely aggressive method of fighting and lightning-fast attacks make him an accurate adaptation of the leopard-style technique. In the first 3 seconds of his fight with Tigress, he is able to avoid and block all of her attacks. His agility and quickness to react as a fighter is characteristic of the speed of leopard-style kung fu. After evading and blocking Tigress' first 4 attacks, he uses his current stance to twist his body and create torque to build up speed for his next punch, which he lunges towards Tigress. After Tigress blocks, he continues on with his momentum by jumping up and kicking at her. Again, we see Tai centering all of his attacks based on his momentum, and really capitalizes on his speed to create force with his attacks. In this scene, we see Tai effectively use his speed once again. After kicking Tigress and propping himself upward, he continues to maintain his momentum by turning himself around the ropes so that he can swing himself towards Tigress to land a devastating kick that sends her far away. We see that Viper's very first attack against Tai is a blow towards the neck. This is characteristic of snake-style fighting, where most strikes are aimed towards the opponent's most vulnerable areas. We then see Viper wrap around Tai's neck and constrict him, again aiming for the opponent's most vulnerable areas. Once she wraps around Tai's fist, she makes him punch himself in the head. She is continuously exploiting his weaknesses and using his strength to her advantage, successfully capturing the essence of snake-style kung fu. Here we see Crane use a peck-like motion with his kick to hit Tai. This is a common striking motion in Crane-style kung fu. This drives all the force of the attack to a single point, which allows for great damage to a vulnerable area. Also, the fact that Crane wraps the rope around Tai is reflective of the philosophy of Crane kung fu, which, unlike other techniques like tiger or leopard, relies less on speed and power and more around deflection and avoidance of force. The Crane is deflecting Tai's attack and biting him with the rope so that he cannot attack any further. In this sequence, we see the Master Monkey charge towards Tai and flip very high in the air before falling down and dropping a kick on him. Since he is a monkey, all of his movements are similar to the movements that would be used in monkey-style kung fu. Monkey-style kung fu is also very heavy on acrobatics and flipping in the air, and we see Master Monkey do such a flip here when he lands his kick on Tai. In this scene, we see Mantis fight Po during his introductory training session. Since Po is a martial arts novice, we do not get to see Mantis' deflecting skills, something that is very important in Mantis kung fu, as blocks and strikes often happen simultaneously in circular motion. We do see the Mantis flip Po around a lot, and throw him on the ground repeatedly, and these types of rapid successive attacks and throwing of the opponent are important characteristics in Mantis-style kung fu. This is now the conclusion to my video. All of the traditional 5 Shaolin animal styles, as well as some other styles, seem to be present in this film except for the dragon style, but it does receive at least some attention in this film. Po can be seen using some of its moves in his fighting. His footwork, for example, draws comparisons to how dragon-style masters fight. This makes sense, considering that Po is of course known as a dragon warrior. I hope anyone who watched this was able to learn more about animal style martial arts and learn something new from watching this video. Thank you.